Marriage with a narcissist is a trap. Why we still do it. Getting married is supposed to be one of the happiest moments of your life. You've found your soulmate, the one you want to spend forever with. Or so you think. Many discover too late that their fairy tale romance was actually a carefully laid trap. Saying "I do" to a narcissist turns marriage from a joyful new chapter into a miserable prison sentence. In the beginning, they sweep you off your feet by mirroring your deepest desires. But soon the facade crumbles, exposing the ugly truth. You're just supplied to exploit. In this video, I'll explain how narcissists use marriage as the perfect tool for manipulation and control. You'll learn why they rush commitments, the roles they groom you for, and how they benefit from your enslavement. I'll also share common experiences of victims trapped in narcissistic marriages. The profound betrayals, conditional love, bipolar rage, and projection of shame. We'll uncover why it's so hard to leave and how narcissists weaponize divorce and children against you. You'll walk away understanding the insidious narcissistic playbook that makes marriage feel like a prison, but also gain clarity that you hold the key to escape and reclaim your freedom. Now let's examine why narcissists target marriage in the first place. Why narcissists seek marriage. Unlike healthy people who marry for mutual love and companionship, narcissists have calculated reasons for rushing marriage that serve themselves. Here are the benefits they gain. Access to your resources, money, assets, property, career perks. Ability to isolate you from family and friends who could intervene. The appearance of normalcy to mask their disorders. Ultimate control over you as finances, kids, social ties intertwine. Multiplies their narcissistic supply. Servants, praise, sex on demand. The thrill of duping someone into lifetime subservience. Forcing dependency so you can't leave. Securing a custodial parent for their children. Sadistic satisfaction destroying someone who loves them. A narcissist doesn't marry for partnership and caring commitment. You represent opportunities to be exploited. Marriage provides the perfect cover of respectability while they turn you into an object owned and mistreated. The rush to commitment. Narcissists fast-track romantic relationships to ensnare their victims before exposing their true selves. They manipulate targets into quick engagements and weddings through excessive flattery, idealization, and mirroring. This grooming process bonds the target to them, leading to rushed commitments. One woman shares how her narcissistic partner gave me a deadline to accept his marriage proposal. This shockingly quick demand was a red flag. But under the influence of love bombing, targets overlook alarms. Another victim recounts her narcissistic husband insisted they marry while she was still grieving a loss. I was so vulnerable after my spouse passed away. He took advantage of that. Pressuring commitments during vulnerability is a common narcissistic tactic. With defenses down, the target agrees to lifelong bonding, unaware of the hell to come. The wedding illusion. The narcissist weaponizes weddings into theatrical performances where they play the doting spouse to trick friends, family, and victims. But the day's meaning is lost on them. One woman shares how her narcissistic fiancé ruined their honeymoon by insulting her. I thought this would be romantic, but he said, romance is just something you do to trap a woman. Another victim recalls her narcissistic husband introducing her as his lady friend, not his wife, to his groomsmen. To a narcissist, marriage is not a sacred vow but a means to an end. The wedding traps their target for ongoing exploitation. Spouse's servant. Once married, the narcissist's sweet mask drops and they reveal their entitlement and contempt. The spouse exists solely to serve their needs without reciprocation. The narcissist requires admiration, obedience, money, housekeeping, parenting, emotional support, and other services from their spouse, while giving nothing in return. Their partner merely functions as supply to make their life comfortable and stoke their ego. The narcissist offloads all unglamorous responsibilities onto their spouse. As one woman described, I became a full-time maid to his entire family while paying all the bills. The narcissist feels entitled to exploit their spouse's labor and resources. They also use neglect, intimidation, shame, and rage to condition obedience. Their victims dutifully comply, driven by trauma bonds and the fruitless hope of redeeming the relationship. Isolation from support. The narcissist isolates their spouse from outside relationships that could provide clarity. They slowly turn their partner against their own family and friends by rewriting history and smearing others' characters. One woman tells how her narcissistic husband made me sell the piano I'd had since childhood. Separating their victim from loved ones lets narcissists gain total control for their abuses. Their spouse suffers the narcissist's cruelties with no one to validate their reality. The narcissist becomes their only human connection, bonding them tighter through this dependence. Isolation also lets the narcissist define reality however suits their agenda. There are no witnesses to contradict their projections and false narratives about the relationship. The victim loses touch with the outside world and truth. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Behind closed doors, the narcissist torments their spouse through put-downs, gaslighting, emotional neglect, and scrutiny. But in public, they pretend to be an ideal couple. This extreme discrepancy between public persona and private behavior keeps victims confused and silenced. As one woman described, "In public he acted so charming. At home he raged and picked fights." The narcissist maintains their flawless external image through constant deception. A husband recalls how, "She told everyone lies about me, portraying herself as virtuous." Their pathological lies and two faces prevent the spouse from getting validation or support. When the narcissist abuses their partner in private, then acts like a model spouse externally, it makes the victim look unhinged for speaking out. This gives the narcissist cover to keep smearing their reputation as unstable or dishonest. Tactics of abuse and control. The narcissist has an arsenal of tactics to keep their spouse trapped in dutiful compliance. Here are some of the most common. Financial abuse. Restricting access to money, racking up partners' debts. Coercion through threats to reputation, custody, and physical safety. Constant criticism and projection of the narcissist's own flaws onto their partner. Gaslighting them into distrusting their own perceptions of reality. Raging when their exploitation or cheating gets confronted. Smear campaigns spreading lies about the spouse to validate themselves. Triangulation to make the victim jealous and vie desperately for affection. Discarding them through abandonment during episodes of boredom. The narcissist keeps their partner walking on eggshells, fearful of the next explosion or betrayal if they fall out of compliance with serving the narcissist's needs. The abuse is all-encompassing. Why victims stay. Despite the misery of narcissistic abuse, many remain trapped in the relationship for years or decades. Some reasons for this include the effects of trauma bonding and learned helplessness, isolation from support systems who could validate their experiences, financial dependence on the narcissist, fear the narcissist will punish them by turning their own children against them, cognitive dissonance between their feelings and the reality of the abuse, external pressure to try to make it work from the community or church, fear they will never find love again if they leave, parental obligation, staying for the children's sake, physical risk, leaving an abusive narcissist. Narcissists meticulously chip away at their victims' resources, bonds, and self-worth to make them dependent and unlikely to leave. But victims can overcome these obstacles by rebuilding support and self-esteem. Why exposure enrages them. When victims identify that their charming partner is actually an exploiting narcissist, the narcissist becomes vicious and unhinged. Their mask slipping devastates them. Here's why. Shatter their false self-image as superior ideal beings. Force them to face the empty void they avoid inside. Confirm the contradiction between their projected virtues and actual vices. Expose their deceit after years of manipulating perceptions. Show their loss of power and control over the victim. Essentially, being accurately seen humiliates and overwhelms them with shame. Their disordered psyches can't withstand the ugly truth being spotted, so they lash out to silence and discredit their victims. Many describe rages, threats, increased abuse, and elaborate smear campaigns in response to their awakening. The narcissist tries to force victims back into compliance so their narcissistic supply keeps flowing. Why divorce provides no escape. Ending the relationship offers little relief from the narcissist's torture. They exploit legal proceedings to financially drain victims and take revenge through the children. One woman describes her horrific court battles. "He dragged out this divorce to try and leave me homeless. I had to pay over $100K just to get out." Even post-divorce, the narcissist continues their vendetta using child custody to sever the victim's relationship with their own kids. Their pathological need for control outlasts the marriage. But despite the challenges, victims can overcome the narcissist's traps by rebuilding support systems, financial independence, and self-esteem. Their freedom was always in their power to take back. How to escape the narcissist's trap. For victims, escape requires destroying the narcissist's false narratives, getting support, and removing their access. Steps include: seek validation from empathetic individuals, counselors, and support communities to know you aren't alone or crazy. Refute the narcissist's projections and smearing by factually recounting events. Journal to document the abuse and understand reality beyond the narcissist's distortions. Build financial independence so you aren't reliant on the narcissist. Cultivate relationships outside the narcissist's influence for insight and strength. Implement no contact with the narcissist whenever feasible to protect your emotions. Get a trauma-informed therapist to help unlearn maladaptive coping mechanisms. The path is daunting but possible. With understanding, boundaries, and support, victims take back their agency after being stripped of it. The narcissist's approval never mattered. What matters is the peace and authenticity waiting for you when you escape the prison of their making. You got this. I hope this video helped you understand the traps narcissists construct through marriage and how you can escape. Please subscribe to my channel for more content on narcissistic abuse recovery. Together we can find validation, meaning, and freedom. I'll see you in the next video, and until then, keep healing.